What's up to YouTube? How you doing? It's show time. Somebody play my theme music. Welcome to Will King's Vids. I'm your host, the illustrious adversary. Somebody make some noise. Okay, so recently there's been some bullshit going on with G-Man. Once again, he's called the police on somebody. I'm not gonna focus on that right now. I'm gonna make a video later on talking about that shit maybe tomorrow because I just want to give him a wide berth because he's just going nuclear right now. So I'm gonna let Drag like have his fun with that retard, and then I might go in for sloppy seconds. But until then, we're gonna be talking about who is it? Dave Chapelle. Apparently, he's been saying some controversial shit in his stand-up comedy routine. So we're just gonna play the footage and see what he's got to say about that. What's his take? Where's that damn? Where's that clip? Okay, there we go. Screen share. Work, you lazy motherfucker. There we go.
About the job of being a comedian, he says this.
I don't think people pay money to see a guy speak precisely, carefully. They want to pay to see somebody worried about repercussions. But they say they just want to see someone trying to get us something honest, something relatable, or have some fun with something.
But now many are pushing back, critical of his jokes involving transgender people, for example, and parts of his routine that focus on sexual misconduct charges against prominent men, including fellow comedian Louis C.K.
Slightly retarded made. One lady said, Louis C.K. masturbating in front of me. Ruined my comedy dreams. Word. Well, did I dare say, madam? I've never had a dream. Come on, man, that's a brittle spirit.
A regular theme for Chapelle now, that Americans today are overly sensitive about what can and cannot be said in public. I asked if he felt that way.
Yes and no. Sometimes I think that we're painfully desensitized because we're bombarded by so much information. And then other times I think people, it's just a lot of humanity, especially when you know so much. So I think it's a challenging time. I think that in a time like that, I, for one, find solace in the arts. I don't have to agree with all the art consumed, but it helps me understand how I actually feel about it.
Are you surprised, though, by the criticism that's come your way?
No. And I don't mind that people get upset. Some of this criticism is helpful. Like, I get educated by it. I don't necessarily agree with all of it. But I learn about a lot of things, just from my critics.
One reason.
Yeah. That's very wise, very open-minded.
Special titled Bird Revelation began with Chapelle thinking aloud about humor's boundaries.
I say a lot of mean things. You guys gotta remember, I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it because it's funny.
Nice. Clever.
And everything's fun. What happens to you?
Okay. So let me just stop broadcasting there. So I think that's a good point for the most part. I said this before and I'll say this again. Stand-up comedy is the poor man's social science. It's all about taking observations from society, from any subject, whether it be about politics, religion, sex, the economy, what have you, pointing out the absurdities in them and making it funny, making it humorous, easy to understand. I mean, and all this stuff is just commentary. Honestly, my philosophy is this: if you can't laugh at yourself, there's a problem. If you're too proud to laugh at yourself, then you have an issue that you seriously need to have addressed. Honestly, because I mean that's all it is. It's just social criticism in the form of entertainment. Same with literature and music. What have you. That's all that Dave Chappelle's doing. I mean, that's why it's not surprising that on one of these political news shows you see a comedian come up there or some entertainer give their insight on how society of the world works. And Dave Chappelle is he's a fairly clever and witty individual. I mean, the whole thing with with Louis C.K. for example, getting caught up with jacking off in front of women. I mean, shit. I mean, are these women really victims? I mean, they stayed and fucking watched the thing. if your dream, I mean, was that somehow involved in your dream of watching people say funny shit, like them not being involved in weird sex scandals? Shit. But I mean, that's all it is. These people, their whole craft is pointing out the absurdity in everyday life, and to get outraged by that it's just ridiculous. Honestly, I mean, it's supposed to be. All these are just jokes. That's all it is. It's commentary. I mean, I'm just surprised they actually that they just don't see this really. What else was I thinking about? Yeah, if you can't, the way I see it, if you can't really deal with criticisms in terms of jokes, then I mean you just need to just leave the conversation. That, and we need that. We need that sense of humor and hyperbole to sort of counterbalance like the negative attention that we see in the media. What with Dev Swore and Trump and all this other bullshit. I mean, you need that shit to create a more cheerful sort of discussion in the public sphere. I mean, it's just that simple. And I think my last thought on this is that if it's funny, if the observation is funny and true, then the feeling shouldn't matter. The emotional aspect of the individual should be completely irrelevant to the observation being made. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. If the statement is not only humorous but actually has a fact involved, like that should be completely null and void, like the reaction of the statement to the statement. But that's all I got to say about this this video in particular. I don't think he's going too far. I don't think he ought to be censored or he should watch his or he should watch his mouth and everything. I think he's a very wise person. The fact that he's willing to be open-minded and listen to some of the blowback that his critics give him, I think that says a lot about him. I think that that shows that he's a pretty big man, like psychologically speaking, and he's willing to have his art criticized, and that's a lot coming from Chapelle, especially since this is the same guy who years ago he had a show on Comedy Central. He was doing it big, he was doing skits, he was making his money, he was owning his craft. And when he got he was also doing movies too, but when he got like a offer to a big contract, he felt like he wouldn't be doing anything for his community or his image, and he just felt like he needed to bail out of that. So he was gone for years, and it's nice to see him coming back on Netflix where he could do his thing and stay true to himself. But But yeah, it is nice to hear his insight after so long and how he's sort of matured in the game. It's real good and how and one of the most respectable things that I can say that I like about Dave Chappelle is the fact that a lot of dumbasses think I look like him, but that's that's irrelevant. That's superfluous. The most important thing that I think I can respect about Chappelle is the fact that he never sells out his principles. I think that's the most important thing to mention. No matter what, whether in his craft or in general in life, like he never sells out his principles, and I think that's something that I feel like is a true and real thing for the man. That ought to be respected. You know, he don't bend to no one's will, whether they're offering him money or some emotional blackmail, some nonsense like that, and he focuses all on the facts of the matter in the discussion. And not to dig right, I have to say I respect that aspect about him as an entertainer and as a person. So, he's got my vote. He's a real cool cat, and I enjoy listening to his entertainment. I hope much success and news about him in the future. But that's all I gotta say. That's my 2 cents on him. Those are some total of my views regarding his stand-up routine and how he handles it. But that's all I gotta say about it. Anyway, this has been Wolf King. Peace out. If you like this video, you know what to do. I might have a video about G-Man later on tomorrow night or tonight, whatever. It depends. But we'll just have to see. Until next time, take care, guys. Hail Satan. If you like this video, you know what to do. I'm out.